Hello friends, welcome back. Can you believe August is almost over and September is right around the corner? But that means fall crafts. It's my favorite season to do crafts. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing 8 easy fall DIYs with you. I'm using mostly Dollar Tree items, so they are very affordable. And I want to say welcome. We have a lot of new subscribers. I've just passed 50,000 subscribers, so I am so excited, and I want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to me. And if you haven't yet, please do. I'd love to get to know you better. So don't forget to like this video. That really helps my channel. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so for this first DIY, I'm going to use this little truck. It did have a piece of wood at the bottom to stand it up. I took that off and I sanded the glitter off the words. And I mixed a little bit of black in with a really bright red. I didn't want it really like a garish red color. I wanted it a little bit darker and deeper. And I'm going to go ahead and paint the truck red. And I'm going to paint over the top of those words too. So the only part of the truck that I'm not painting red is the little piece, not the tail lights, but like the part where the tail lights are on. I'm going to paint that a really dark gray, and just everything else I'm going to paint red. Okay, you can see here I did not rinse out my brush. I'm just left the red in it, and I kind of mixed it with a little bit of black and mixed it in with some brown, kind of made a dark gray color. And I'm going to paint that area around the tail lights, and I just felt like it gave it a little bit more depth that way. I am going to paint the tail lights red. I'm curious how many of you guys are still into the cute little red truck. I did consider painting this a different color, but I have a lot of red in my house, so I just still love that little red truck. So I'm just curious how many of you guys do too, or if you're kind of leaning more towards the turquoise or the blue. So, okay, so I painted the taillights red, like I said, and I actually went over the tires a little bit too with the black just for depth. You can't see it here, but they do have like little white streaks in them, like tread on the tire. I did leave those white streaks in there. So down here at the bottom, I'm kind of just painting what the general colors of fall leaves. So as if the truck is driving through fall leaves of different colors, just a mass of fall leaves. So it's kind of a general color, and I am going to go over the leaves. There's a couple of leaves on the truck, but I'm going to add, the different brighter colors. So underneath the truck, I'm just going to add like a random, I'm not doing any general shape. I'm just, quickly adding like little yellow and orange splotches like leaves kind of blowing around under the truck. So I'm going to paint the furthest pumpkin away a little bit darker orange, and then the one a little bit closer, I'm painting in a little bit lighter orange, and then the other one I'm going to paint green. So I just didn't want them all the same color. But that's a personal preference. You guys aren't following exactly how I do it, I'm sure. I am curious about the colors that you guys use though. So definitely let me know in the comments what colors you guys use. So as you can see, I am adding shadow and highlight to my pumpkins. And basically I'm just following the lines that are already on there. When you're the one who's painting it, you can kind of see through the paint a little bit to see where they're at. And I think it just gives it a little bit more depth when you do that. So this one, like I said, I'm going to paint it green. So on my brush, I have white, green, and yellow kind of just all on the brush at the same time, and makes it easier to get a a three-dimensional look to your pumpkin or gourd or whatever it is that you're painting. So I'm going to add some highlight to my stems as well. I just think it looks better. Obviously, you can tell that I'm weird. I have to add highlights to stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint the leaves on here. I do paint them all three a different color. And I'm also going to paint the sky, like being able to see the sides of the truck and through the windshield. I'm just going to use a very light blue, and I actually have it a little bit darker blue around the edges than in the middle. You'll see what I'm talking about. I add a little bit of white mixed with some water. Once I get this painted, I'll add it on there, and it just kind of makes it just look a little bit better versus the natural wood color that it came with. So at least to me it does. So anyway, I go ahead and finish painting this and then work on my leaves a little bit more. I just felt like they needed a little bit more work. Okay, so here's how it looks so far. Now I'm gonna add this little box. So this was actually the only one of these little houses, little countdown houses that my Dollar Tree had. So I got it, I took the little box off of it, and I'm gonna paint the outside and the top ridge red. I'm gonna leave the inside black. And I'm gonna add some glitter glue to some red to the tail lights and the appropriate colors on my pumpkins. I don't normally use glitter glue because it takes so long to dry, and honestly, the paint dries really pretty fast on this because it's like a cardboard. It just really soaks up the paint, so it dries fast, but glitter glue does not dry very fast. So, but I just felt like it needed some glitter on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that. I do give the box 2 coats of paint because it was black, and the red, it's kind of a slick material or slick wood, so it just needed 2 coats. So I'm going to use these little magnets that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to put 2 on the back. You could put 3 if you wanted. And I'm going to go ahead and put the little blocks in there for the countdown. I think it's so cute. So I'm just going to put this on my refrigerator as a refrigerator magnet. And I think it is so, so cute. I love it. So for this next DIY, I'm going to use these 2 metal containers. One I got at the Dollar Tree, one I got at IKEA for 99 cents. And it's technically 2 DIYs. I'm going to spray paint them both at the same time, but I'm going to work on them one at a time. So I got these wall stickers at the Dollar Tree. I like what they say: grateful, thankful, and blessed. Perfect for the fall. And these are perfect for putting on there. You literally cannot even tell that they're stickers once they're on there. So I put 2 words on the bigger one, and then the smaller one I put thankful, and I use the leaves on the smaller one. So the smaller one is the one that I got at IKEA. And they do have some similar at the Dollar Tree, but I already had this one. So I'm going to paint the bottom black and the top ridge black as well on both of them. And then I'm just going to work on them separately because they are 2 separate DIYs. So I'm going to work on this one first, and this one I'll do next. I love how both of these turned out. Those stickers are just perfect. So I did use some foam inside, and in this bigger one I have it up a little bit in the center. I have it a little bit higher, and I'm going to glue those pieces in there. So I've got a variety of different fall flowers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use my wire cutting scissors and cut each of those stems. So I'm going to use 2 bunches of the fall leaves in this one, and I used this vase. I got this vase at the Dollar Tree as well. So the vase I've hot glued on to that raised piece of foam in the middle. So if you wanted this higher, I do think it would look good higher, but I did want it pretty low, so that's why I kept it that height. But I love these glittery ferns from the Dollar Tree. So I got both kind of the brown colored ferns and then the gold colored ferns. So these dripping blossoms I think are so pretty. I love the color. It's kind of a burnt orange or red color. So it's not even, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's perfect with the leaves. It matches perfectly. So as you can see, I put the brown ferns in first, the glittery ferns, and then these blossom flowers next, kind of pointing out towards the sides. Now I don't have anything going straight up, just kind of having them fan out to the sides. And once I get those on there, I'm going to go ahead and add the kind of copper gold colored ferns next. And I do kind of spread those out equally. The reason I put the vase in there early is so I could kind of build around it. So I love how this purple dahlia looks, or dahlia, however you pronounce it. Everyone pronounces it different. But I love how it looks with the orange. It is so, so pretty. I'm not huge on purple, so this was kind of stepping out for me. It's not a color I would normally choose, but it just looks so pretty with the orange. So I definitely wanted to use that. So I mix it in there, and like I said, I'm keeping everything really pretty low. You could really build this up for a fantastic centerpiece if you wanted to raise that vase up in the center. Then you could add some more height with the flowers. You could use a taper candle or a small pillar candle, which is what I'm choosing to use. Either one would look great. So this is how it turned out. I absolutely love the vibrance of the colors, and I love how the container looks. It's just so pretty and the perfect centerpiece. Okay, for this smaller one, I'm going to use 1 bunch of the leaves, and I just kind of spread them out equally. And I'm going to use basically the same colors. I am going to add some of that tan colored hydrangea in there. I really debated on putting it in the centerpiece as well, but this is just more for like a side table or something to tie it in. It would be perfect for like a nightstand in a bedroom, maybe the guest room, or in a bathroom, or if you have a big enough kitchen, this would be the perfect size for a kitchen as well. So yeah, basically the same colors. I'm just going to equally spread everything out. I really like that tan colored hydrangea mixed in there as well. So the only thing different that I'm going to add is some of the Dollar Tree's pumpkins. They're kind of a smaller size pumpkin on a pick, and a pretty good size pick too. I think they're new this year. I don't remember seeing them last year, so I love them. I think they're so cute. So I'm just going to add 3 of them in there, all 3 at different heights, and kind of grouped together. I think it's just right. So I love how this one turned out as well. That little container, I think it's so cute, and again, the colors, and I like how it matches the centerpiece. So there we have it. Okay, so for this next DIY, I'm going to use this yarn and this give thanks sign. So I just really thought this yarn was unique. I'm not a person that uses yarn a lot, and I had an idea. So you might like this DIY and you might not. That's okay. So I've just removed the banner, and I'm going to start from the bottom and start hot gluing this yarn on. So I will say, you kind of need to turn the yarn so it's all laying flat. And I'm just gonna zigzag all the way up. So there were a couple of parts where I went back and glued another strip in between areas. Had I been thinking about it, I probably should have painted the background orange first, and you can or you don't have to. I think it's okay without it, but I'm just gonna add this little chalkboard, Dollar Tree chalkboard on there, and a couple of leaves. So to me, this resembles a pumpkin, and it has a lot of texture because of the yarn, and I love that. So you could write whatever you wanted on this chalkboard. I really liked these words, and I liked how the little banners look, so I just cut out some words that said fall flannels, and I'm going to use some of the red sticker letters from Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to write out cuddle-up. So this is going to go on the front of my basket that holds my throws in the fall. So I just think it's so cute. And it's perfect. It's got lots of cuddly texture to it. So that's what made me think of it. Okay, so for this DIY, I'm going to use these two prints on canvas, or it's supposed to be simulated canvas. I don't think it's actual canvas, but I liked the scroll work around the edges. So I'm going to paint over the cow and the chicken in the center, and I'm going to paint a pumpkin. So at first I was going to do a white pumpkin, but I just didn't like how it was looking necessarily. With the kind of cream colored background, I didn't like it. So I changed it to orange. I will say I had to go over it a couple of times to cover up the black animal underneath. But yeah, like I said, I liked the scroll work on the sides of what is now my pumpkins. So I kind of wanted to go with that. So while doing the stem, I wanted a unique stem that had a lot of movement to it, not just a basic stem. So I'm gonna add lots of curlicues with the vines, and I guess kind of more give it a Cinderella look. You could do a face on here. You could use one of the wooden pumpkin cutouts or another shape if you wanted, and just glue it on there if you didn't want to paint something. But I just personally really liked the scroll work around the edges, and that's what inspired how I did the pumpkins. So you can see I'm giving it the stem just a little bit of a different shape. And yeah, I'm gonna add lots of curlicues around the top and the bottom. And I'm also gonna add, with that dark green, some like a dark base for the pumpkin to be sitting on. So like maybe leaves or something just under there, just so it has something that it's sitting on and not just kind of floating there in the middle. But yeah, I would definitely say that this would be a fun DIY for kids. So like if you just blacked out the center or painted it white or something just for a base, I think that kids would have fun doing this too, just because it's pretty simple to do. But yeah, like I said, you could use a wooden cutout as well. Okay, so I am using that same color from the stem and kind of just lightly dragging it through the pumpkin, down the pumpkin sides a little bit, just to add a little bit of depth. I'm not gonna be super careful. I don't care if the pumpkin looks super realistic at this point. I just wanted that more of a whimsical look to it. This is where I'm going to start really adding a lot of curlicues, and on the bottom too of the pumpkin, because I don't want it just kind of floating there. I wanted it to have a little bit of a base to it to be sitting on something. So, but yeah, this is super simple. This would be a fun project if you had like a group of friends, if you have like a craft group or something, because everybody's pumpkin is going to turn out different. So yeah, I just thought it was super cute. You could do like a group of pumpkins as well. So yeah, I just did a basic pumpkin on both. Okay, so I know that watching me paint it might be boring for some people, but there's lots of people that don't know how to do it, and I know that they would ask questions. So I guess I just wanted to give you the basics so you could maybe follow along for those that didn't know how to paint it. So I got these letters from Michaels. I like them because they have a capital and a lowercase on the same letters. So I'm just going to put give on one pumpkin and thanks on the other. And I absolutely love how these turned out. I'm not sure exactly where I want to put them. I haven't started decorating for fall yet, but I love how these turned out. I think they're super cute. Okay, do you remember this house from the first DIY? Well, where I pulled the box off, it kind of ripped the paper a little bit. So I just painted it white, went over it with white, and just to kind of clean it up a little bit. Not that you're really going to see it, but just for my sanity. But I'm going to go over that garland that's already on there with more fall colors. And I'm not worried about it looking realistic or anything. I just mostly want the fall colors. I'm also going to use that Farm Fresh sign and a little piece of scrapbook paper. The scrapbook paper, I mostly just want the colors on there for a background, but so I'm just going to glue it in there, and then I'm going to glue this right over the top of that house, and then I'm going to work on this small wreath. So again, I'm going to use those glittery ferns. I'm just going to pull them off their stems, and I'm only going to use a couple, so I'll have plenty left over. And I'm going to use this burlap ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to glue it on, but kind of just wrap it around the entire wreath and just kind of give it a base. Okay, so I'm going to glue 2 of the darker colored ferns on each side. Now, I think this would look really pretty with leaves too, just fall leaves, but I'm going to put one of the lighter colored fern leaves in the center on each side, just so one on each side. So I wanted to keep this fairly simple. It was mostly the colors that I wanted. So I'm going to glue this right on top of the wreath. And inside that box, you could use a picture. These are pictures of my kids, so you could put a picture in there, but I'm just going to use one of those one of those round tags, and that's just a piece of table scatter there, that leaf. I'm just going to cover up that hole, and then I'm going to write on there Morning Pumpkin. So because I plan on having this in my kitchen, actually I think I might use it in my bedroom. I have a coffee bar in my bedroom, so I might use it there, but I just thought that was super cute. You could put anything in the box, absolutely anything, but I love how it looks. It's just something small that doesn't take up a lot of space and definitely has that fall feeling. So I love how that turned out. Okay, for this DIY, I'm going to use this like shadow type box. It had a little tag in the middle. I pulled it off. I'm going to use this paintable pumpkin, these beads, and I'm going to use these little jars. I think they're so cute. So because this is cardboard, basically. You can cut it with scissors very easy. So I'm just going to trim off that edge and sand off the glitter off the words. And I want to make sure that it fits inside that box. And once I get that done, I'm going to paint over the pumpkin and the words. I don't want the words on there, so I'm just going to paint the pumpkin. And this was also one of those things. I almost wanted to paint it white, or even like the white with a lot of green speckled into it. I thought about that too. I think those are really pretty, but just went with a basic orange. You do have to go over it a few times because of the type of wood it is. Really soaks up the paint, and you can really see those black lines through it, which if you're not used to painting would give you kind of direction for where to paint, where to put the highlights. So I'm just gonna paint my pumpkin, and once I get that done, I'm gonna paint the base of the pumpkin black because the box that I'm putting it in, the frame is black, so that's why I'm gonna paint that black. So I'm not gonna paint the back of the base, but I am gonna paint the sides, just where you could actually see through and see it. So once I get that done, I'm gonna set it aside to dry, and I'm gonna open up these beads and put each color in a jar. So I will say it's tricky because you can't really just dump them out because it all mixed together. So they are kind of tricky to get out of there, those beads are, but I just put each color in each little jar, and I'm gonna hot glue my pumpkin in there. You could have taken it off the base and just glued it in there, but this kind of gave it a three-dimensional look because it kind of sets it up away from the back. And I'm gonna arrange my jars. They all fit excluding one, and I arranged them how I liked them, and then I just hot glued them in place. So to me, they look like a cute little spice rack with spices in it, like pumpkin pie spices. I think it's so cute. So you could add a little sign that says something about that, but I think it's perfect for the kitchen. I absolutely love this one. Okay, how many of you guys bought these stickers from the Dollar Tree? I think they are so pretty. So I'm gonna dress up these Dollar Tree pumpkins. First, I painted them white. I just spray painted them. And I'm gonna add these stickers on every other ridge of the pumpkin. So I lay them down, some of them shorter. I don't go down the entire length of the ridge of the pumpkin. So some of them I do, some of them I don't, some of them I go halfway in between. And I'm also going to use these gemstone stickers. So the parts where I didn't go all the way down, I'm going to add the gemstone stickers to finish out the row on that ridge, if that makes sense. So I'm also going to add them down the ridge that I skipped because I did every other ridge. So now I'm just going to go down those ridges in between with the gemstone stickers. So looking back at this DIY as I am editing it, I kind of wish that I would have painted the stem silver. I think it needs to be silver. So I might have to go back and do that, but that's up to you for how you do it. But I just thought that those new stickers are just so pretty, and this is going to go perfect in my guest bathroom. I have a lot of glittery glam type stuff in there, so I think that these are perfect for in there, and neutral color as well. Although I think they would look pretty if the pumpkin was a pastel color with these over the top. But anyway, I love how these look. I think they're perfect for my guest bathroom. So these are my 8 DIYs that I've shared with you today. I hope you like them. Let me know which one is your favorite, as always, because I'm curious as to what your guys' taste is and what you like best. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like it if you did. And you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye for now.